Coming up, freedom at last.
I think it's one of the best feelings I've ever had in my life.
Emergency on the mountain.
My throat's gone all tight. I can't swallow if I know how to breathe.
And freaked out by frostbite.
It hit home to everybody how serious this expedition really is.
The adventurers have had a week of high drama building a remote bear enclosure. The work was incredibly tough.
I just really want to go to bed.
Can't be bothered.
There were serious splits in the team.
If she comes next to me today, I'm going to punch her.
But eventually they made it.
We done it! Yeah!
Completing the huge enclosure in just 1 week.
Come on!
After a VIP opening ceremony,
Wow.
2 rare captive bears took their first steps into the enclosure.
Oh, it's so good seeing them in. It's awesome, it made it all worthwhile.
The Sirius Andes enclosure is the last step in returning the spectacled bears to the wild.
They can move around, jump around, do whatever they want, explore. They just look happy, and it's amazing.
Berto and Leo have spent most of their life in tiny cages at much lower altitude. Their natural home is up here in the Andes, and the enclosure will help them get used to the conditions they'll face when they're released. The adventurers head into the hills to search for the food the bears will eat in the wild. Their main diet is a large prickly plant called a poya.
Really sharp spikes, hard to carry. Makes you bleed a lot. I don't know how they eat it, but they do.
And Berto and Leo rip the spiky leaves apart in seconds.
This enclosure is really good for them because they're starting to learn things that they need to survive in the wild.
The final stage is seeing if the bears can find the food for themselves, so the team plant poyas inside the enclosure.
Come on, go on, dive straight in there.
So cute!
Good effort. Look at that.
It's really cool watching them rip down their poya like they would in the wild.
Returning captive animals to the wild is always a risky business, but after a week in the enclosure, the researchers decide they've done all they can. They take the decision to release the bears. Early next morning, Berto and Leo are given an anaesthetic for their journey to a remote part of the reserve. While they're asleep, it's a rare chance to collect some vital samples and measurements.
Quite upsetting to see them like this because they're obviously not meant to be like this, but it's nice to be this close to what's going to be a wild bear.
14.
I'm just going to take the moment of being close and just stroke it.
The bears are covered in grass to protect them from the intense sunlight. And then they begin their final journey to freedom. It's been 2 years since Berto and Leo were illegally taken from the wild and sold as pets. Now they're heading for an isolated area where they should at last be safe. But as the going gets steeper, even the special all-terrain vehicle gets into trouble. The researchers decide manpower is the only option to get them up the hill. A couple of hours later, they arrive at the remote release point.
They're okay?
Yeah, they're okay.
High in the mountains, it's an area rich in food and water.
Yeah.
With time short before the bears wake up, the team must say their final farewells.
I think it's absolutely incredible, actually, because it's the entire reason we came here was to set these bears free. I think it's one of the best feelings I've ever had in my life.
You get a great sense of satisfaction seeing them go out with each other, you know, into the wild, where they're supposed to be, where they haven't been for the whole of their lives, and they will be, hopefully, for the rest of them.
It's absolutely amazing to see him free. It's great.
As the drugs wear off, the rare spectacle bears start to explore their new surroundings. They'll hopefully be the first of many to come through the Serious Andes enclosure on their journey back to the wild.
Oh, look at that.
To see them really happy in the wild, it really warms your heart.
I mean, to look at them bears that you've been looking at in cages and in the enclosure, and then finally see them up in the open wilderness, it was just brilliant, really, really good.
The adventurer's environmental mission is finally complete, but the expedition is far from over. The team has been training to go to even higher altitude, but the details of what's in store haven't been revealed until now.
Congratulations on today, guys. Absolute winner, all right? But now, what's going to happen is tomorrow we are going to disappear on horseback. Yeah. Okay. The journey's going to take about possibly 6 or 7 hours. Exactly. And we are then going to. Right. The most important thing is we are then going to be climbing Cotopaxi. I didn't expect that reaction.
At 20,000 feet, almost 4 miles into the sky, Cotopaxi is one of the highest active volcanoes on Earth. No team this young has ever climbed so high. It'll be the toughest challenge any serious adventurers have faced, requiring a superhuman effort. Not all will make it.
It's how tough you are up top. It's not about physicality or anything like that. It's more about whether you've got the mental attitude. And that is what we need you to focus on over the next 6-7 days. Is that cool?
Yeah.
Happy?
Awesome. Happy? Oh yeah!
Worried? Scared?
The 8 adventurers haven't realised it, but throughout the trip, leaders Ben and Polly have been watching them in minute detail to assess who'll be able to cope with the climb.
Every day, we look at people, who are the grafters, who are the shirkers, who are the watchers, to find out who is actually going to go high on that mountain and hopefully summit. Possibly gonna make it, Erin, Kylie and also Will. Purely through mental attitude is that when the going gets tough, they always seem to produce the goods.
I can't wait. I really can't wait. I really, really, really want to get up there. I've been really waiting to find some snow and go through snow, and I can't wait, and I'm going to get to the summit no matter what.
I believe in everyone, and I hope that everyone gets their mind put to it, because that's what it really is about. It's about believing in yourself, believing in the team.
Borderline cases, and that's Liam. Liam physically is strong enough to do it, but it's whether he actually applies himself and actually wants to get to the top.
Excited, scared, nervous. It's unbelievable.
Matt is strong in the head, but physically at the moment has shown a wee bit of weakness with the altitude. So again, he's borderline for me.
It's going to be hard, really hard, and it's going to be physically challenging, and a few people it's going to affect. But bring it on. We're all ready for it. We're all going to try our best.
The smaller, sort of skinnier individuals are going to struggle with the cold, and so certainly at the moment, Josh, Caitlin, and also Sarah, although she's physically big and strong, she certainly suffers from the cold a lot, particularly in her feet.
I'll give it my best. I'll try and reach the top, but I'm going to be very cold. Because these clothes do not keep me warm, but I have faith in everyone. I think everyone's going to make it if everyone just sets their mind to it.
Before they leave, there's a rare afternoon of free time, and the boys have gone fishing.
Hurry up, Josh! Come on, hurry up, quick!
Oh, look at it go. Alright, Josh, unhook it and I'll reel it.
Oh, yes, mate, you!
Alright, just let go of it, drop it in the water.
Ah, your dinner tonight. That's the biggest fish I've actually caught. The other ones we caught, they've been about that big.
Look at that beauty. We're eating trout tonight.
After 2 weeks of rice, noodles and porridge, they can't wait.
We really do need some olive oil, don't we?
Fish, is it any good?
Yeah, try some.
Really nice.
Yeah?
The trout was absolutely lovely. You could taste the freshness. You taste the herbs.
That is delicious.
See how I marinated that?
That is fantastic.
Oh, unbelievable. So fresh. So nice.
It's capped an unforgettable day.
Today was such an experience. When we released the bears, it just blew your mind away.
It was one of the most satisfying and the most exciting moments ever for everybody, I think.
There's also quite a buzz about the extreme adventure still to come.
Tomorrow we go to Cotopaxi. Can't wait. It's going to be absolutely fantastic.
I can't wait. I just hope I don't get too altitude sick or fall off anywhere.
And I hope I get to the summit. I really do.
The volcano hasn't been seriously active for 100 years, but Sarah's still worried.
I'm scared in case it has to erupt, and then we'll all die. I don't want to die here.
Next morning, the adventurers pack up camp for the marathon horse ride to the mountain.
I think it should be quite enjoyable. I really do like horse riding. I think it's going to be a bit harsh on your bum at points, especially near the end.
Are we good to go to Cotopaxi? We ready for the mountain phase?
See?
Excellent, well let's do it.
The route is littered with huge rocks thrown out by previous Cotopaxi eruptions. The spectacular ride soon starts to take its toll.
My bum is so sore, so are my thighs.
My bum and my inner thighs and lower back hurt.
And by the time they finally arrive, they're completely saddle sore.
There's so much pain.
I feel so relieved to close my legs. And my hips all hurting.
Bit painful, but it was enjoyable.
The team settle into their base camp at nearly 15,000 feet, their highest altitude so far. As the clouds part, they get their first close-up view of the enormous challenge ahead.
It's absolutely amazing view. It looks very high up. Even though Ben says it looks easy, it doesn't look easy to me, but...
I never said easy, Matt. And the closer you get to it, the more steep it looks.
Looks good. Can't wait to get up there, start training.
Oh, it looks phenomenal. It looks absolutely amazing. I can't wait to get up there.
This is a big mountain.
Yeah.
And you've got to get your heads around the scale of things, all right, and how difficult it's going to be. Tomorrow morning when we go up and start the first climb, that's when reality will suddenly come through to them. And when they can't breathe, and it's very cold and very windy, suddenly they will have a bit of a reality check on what they've embarked upon.
As evening draws in, the adventurers are treated to a mind-blowing high-altitude sunset.
What a view. Magnificent. When the sun was setting and we was above the clouds, and you see the sun setting above the clouds, it's awesome.
More than anything, I want to get up this mountain. I want to get to that summit.
If I reach the top, I think I'd be the first youngest English person ever to climb Cotopaxi, which would be an amazing achievement, and I could go back home and tell people that, and it would just be so amazing.
through the window I can see Mount Cotopaxi in the dark with all the stars shining around it. It's a brilliant sight, and no matter what, I'm going to try my absolute hardest to get to the top of that mountain.
It'll be an extreme challenge. As well as the altitude, freezing temperatures pose a serious threat.
Can everyone see that? Yeah? All right. Yeah.
Many mountaineers fall victim to frostbite, which affects exposed parts of the body if they get too cold.
Yeah. And this is where you end up with all these horrific pictures and horrific stories of blistering of skin. Then it goes black, and then if it goes really, really bad, you're going to end up losing fingers, losing toes, gangrenous smell, that kind of thing.
Quite frankly, at the moment I am terrified. Ben just showed us all these pictures of frostbite and stuff, and I am so paranoid. The gloves on my hand are not coming off while I'm going up that mountain, I can assure you that much.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hit home to everybody how serious this expedition really is, because it can take off fingers and toes.
It's their first night camped on the mountain. The tents are lashed constantly by icy winds.
Honestly, I thought my tent was going to fall down. I could hear all this flapping and stuff.
And it was very cold. I slept with most of my clothes on and I was still cold. My feet were like ice cubes for the whole night.
It's not the preparation they'd like for the trials ahead. The ascent of Cotopaxi is in 3 stages. Today they'll hike via a climbing hut to advanced base camp at 16,000 feet. From there they'll climb onto a glacier and Camp 1 at 17,000 feet. And finally there'll be a huge push for the summit. The team will need to carry a lot of kit and supplies to advance base camp.
I would say it's not that bad, but then you let go.
The hut near the end of today's stage doesn't look that far away, but at this altitude, climbing 1,000 feet up, around 300 meters, is serious stuff. Just 10 minutes in, they're already struggling.
Starting to feel it, it's getting really tough. And this loose ground really doesn't help, because every time you get a grip, you slide back down again. Don't try and carry a rucksack that weighs more than you uphill at 16,000 feet.
It's good to see his muscles wet.
It's really, really hard and tough. I can feel my chest tighten up.
I didn't think it would affect me so much. And I feel really breathless.
It's windy, it's nasty, horrible terrain, and people are finding it hard.
At nearly 3 miles above sea level, there's only half as much oxygen in the air. The only way to cope is by walking at a slow and steady pace, but Liam is pushing himself way too hard.
Liam, slower.
This is how I'm used to walking up hills, though.
I know, but don't. I'm telling you, you've got to go slow. Literally, head down. Look at where you're putting your feet, and it's slowly, slowly, slowly. Yeah, and just regulate the breathing.
What was about stomachache?
Stomachache.
Yeah.
Matt has to stop, suffering from painful cramps.
Let me go and turn around.
Stefan, one of the expedition doctors, checks he's okay.
Is it fading at all?
A little bit, yeah.
All right.
Liam is still walking far too fast, and he soon pays the price.
Can't breathe on ground.
He suffers a panic attack.
You okay, Liam? You okay?
He can't get enough oxygen into his lungs.
Bend over. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Just deep breaths, okay? It's not a problem. Liam, it really isn't a problem. Okay? Happens to all of us. Okay, all it is you overstrain yourself, and then you're trying to get oxygen in, and you're panicking, yeah? Trying to get more and more oxygen in, and you can't get it. Just take your time, take a moment.
Sarah's been taking it very steadily all the way, so when she also starts to have trouble breathing, it's more of a concern.
God, it hurts. My throat's gone all tight. I can't swallow if I know how to breathe.
Expedition Dr. Antonia checks her out.
Just a couple of steps at a time. You don't need to go any faster than that. Okay. Have you got too much on?
No, I don't feel hot. I feel cold.
I feel cold.
The conditions are getting worse, but Sarah's absolutely determined to carry on.
Big lungfuls, all right? Okay, just really slow, okay? Just concentrate on your breathing. Steady, steady, steady. Don't rush it, okay?
They're now less than 100 metres from their goal.
Oh, my tent. It's going to be like a 5-star hotel.
But Sarah can force herself on no longer. Her body can't handle the lack of oxygen in the air.
Can you see all right?
No, but it's like blurry.
Is there a bit of blurring up in front of your eyes?
She's showing early signs of AMS, acute mountain sickness, which can hit anyone, no matter how fit or strong.
Sarah, I'm going to take your rucksack. You're so close. Really close. So it'd be a shame to turn back now.
I think it's blurry. It's blurry and I feel dizzy.
Right.
The rest of the team battle on to cover the last few metres.
It's too hard. Hopefully Sarah will make it.
But Sarah's condition is getting worse. It's vital she takes a high-altitude drug to make her feel better.
As much saliva as you can, but go for it.
Put the sweet in and
Go for it.
I can't swallow.
I think we need to take you down.
I don't want to go down.
You don't want to go down. If you can try and get this down your throat, it will help enormously. Small sip. Okay. Bite it, whatever. Head back. No, don't spit it out. Swallow it. Swallow it. Sarah, swallow it. Swallow it. Swallow it.
I can't swallow.
Meanwhile, all the others make it successfully to the hut.
Well done, guys.
Well done. This way.
Fantastic.
Really happy to finally be up there. Just want to eat now.
Yep.
Just a few metres down, the leadership team have a hard decision. Do they send Sarah back to the safety of base camp?
I just don't think we're going to gain anything by going up. I think she's going to just feel worse and fall over and then not be able to come down.
Don't just think coming in, but definitely think going down is the right idea.
You're going to go down, mate. Okay? So you'll go down with Ant.
Sarah's dream of reaching the summit is all but over.
She can't swallow at the moment, so we can't put Diamox down, which is a high-altitude drug, to actually combat the effects. Okay, so Ant and Steph are with her at the moment, and she's going to go straight back down the mountain with her kit. Okay, she's not going to come any higher.
In her head, she was quite keen to keep going, so it was a bit sad to say, look, you know, I'm really sorry, but you're going to have to go back down. Look at that.
The remaining adventurers head over from the hut to advance base camp.
What can you see?
Oh, yes.
Heaven.
Perched 3 miles up on the red volcanic slopes, few people have experienced anything like it.
Seeing that view is absolutely gorgeous.
You're up in the clouds. You actually are up in the clouds.
The clouds were just basically next to us, and it felt like we were in an aeroplane.
Just get yourself sorted now, okay? While there's a bit of daylight. Okay?
The smallest and youngest of the team, 12-year-old Josh, has defied the odds in making it this far.
Very impressed with wee Josh. I mean, his sack was so heavy, but he stuck behind me the whole way up.
It took ages and it was really hard. I honestly didn't think that I was going to make it.
But all today's efforts have taken them less than a quarter of the way to the summit, where the air is even thinner. The enormity of conquering Cotopaxi is really starting to hit home.
I'm quite honest, I didn't expect anything like that so soon. And I think it's just making everyone a bit more weary.
What did worry me was that Ben said it's possible that tomorrow we could lose another one or two of us, which really scared me because I really don't want to have to go away from the group. I really don't want to.
Sarah has dropped back down to the lower altitude of base camp, where her symptoms quickly start to get better.
Okay. I'm so disappointed. I wish I would have stayed up there, but I couldn't. So I feel disappointed that I was so close, but now I'm so far.
Up at Advanced Base Camp, there's more bad news. Liam is also showing the first signs of acute mountain sickness.
He's suffering from mild nausea, dizziness, and we're going to have to keep a close eye on him tonight. But it's a worrying sign for tomorrow, to be honest.
Liam is urgently given altitude drugs.
But I think now I'm getting AMS. I've already had some of the tablets on that for it. But I just don't feel well. I just want to go back down.
A final decision will be taken in the morning, but so early on in the ascent, it's an ominous sign of the drama still to come on Cotopaxi.
I feel headachy, sick, dizzy. One of the hardest things I've ever done in my life.
I think if we all get up on Cotopaxi, make it to the top, I think that'll be the biggest achievement ever.
Next time on Serious Andes, emotions run high on the mountain, and altitude sickness hits more of the team.
I've got a bit of a headache and I feel quite dizzy.
Can anyone conquer Cotopaxi?
It hurts. It really hurts.